Hello, algebra students. Mr. Lawrence here with your flipped lesson. And when we're done with this lesson, you should be able to say, I can raise numbers to the zero power, and I can use negative exponents. Now, I need you to stop and think, okay? Some of you um, get very insistent and think you know things, when in actuality, you're just guessing, and you don't really know. And you're not using a mathematical process to get your answer. You're just saying it has to be. And then you want to argue about it. Now look, I know many of you think you know what 2 to the 0 power is going to equal, but you probably don't. But don't worry about it. I'm going to help you discover where it comes from and what it actually equals. So, and I run into adults that don't know this either, so don't feel bad. But use this process and you'll never get this wrong. Okay? Let's say, do you know what 2 to the 4th is? Well, of course it means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, right? Okay? And that's 16, right? And then 2 to the 3rd must mean 2 times 2 times 2. And I know Reese knows what 2 to the 3rd is, right? Oops, started to write 2 to the 3rd. It's 8, of course. Very good, Reese. All right, and 2 to the 2nd. Okay, that's a tough one. I better go to somebody really smart on that one. Shelby, you know 2 to the 2nd is 4, right? Thank you for helping us out. Now, 2 to the 1st, of course, is just 2, right? Now, ask yourself, how do I move from 16 to 8? Well, I divide it by 2. 8 to 4, I divide it by 2, right? You see that? I divide by 2. So, what do you suppose 2 to the 0 power is? Well, I don't know about like here what I'm going to write, but over here, if I divide by 2 to go from 16 to 8, divide by 2 to go from 8 to 4, I divide by 2, I'm going to get 1. 2 to the 0 power equals 1. I'll bet that surprised most of you. I'll bet most of you didn't see that coming. But you can see why. I divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. It has to be 1. Now, that's actually true for any non-zero number. Any non-zero number. For example, 10 to the 0 power, 1. Negative 1,562 to the 0 power. It's a hard one. 1. There you go. How about 1 million? Oops. If I knew how to write 1 million, that would help. All right. There we go. To the 0 power. Oh man, better get your calculators out because guess what? It's 1. There we go. Any non-zero number to the 0 power is 1. Okay. Now, uh, let's see if we can figure out what 2 to the negative first is. Okay. Well, again, I'm not going to do it with all these 2's, but I'm going to think about dividing by 2. And if I divide 1 by 2, I'm going to get 1/2, right? How about 2 to the negative second power? Hmm. Let's take a look at something here. 2 to the first was 2. 2 to the negative first was 1/2. 2 to the second is 4. Anybody take a guess on 2 to the negative second? What do you think, Alex? I think it's going to be 1/4. Let's test it out. 1/2 divided by 2 is the same problem as 1/2 times the reciprocal 1/2. 1/4. Yeah. What do you think 2 to the negative third is going to be? 2 to the negative third should be easy now that you've seen the other ones. Well, let's see. What's 2 to the third? Well, it's 8. 2 to the negative third? 1/8. So A negative exponent means to use the reciprocal. Don't just say it, it moves or goes downstairs or something like that. Make sure you say use the reciprocal. Don't just say it becomes a fraction, because if it is a fraction, it might not be a fraction after you've used the reciprocal. So what do you think 3 to the negative third is? Well, I know 3 to the third, oops, 3 to the third power is 27. 3 to the negative third, 1 over 27. Yeah. Another way to think about it, you have a 3 to the negative third, let's put it over 1. That's the same as 1 over 3 to the positive third. 1 over 3 times 3 times 3, 1 over 27. Okay, let me give you a couple to practice here. Hold on one second. Okay, so I have 7 problems here. You can only see 6. There's a 7th one. Go ahead and copy them down, pause the video, and see if you can get the right answers. All right, hopefully, if you're watching at this point, well, let me show you number 7 again. There's number 7, so you can copy it down. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I know that 7 to the 0 power, I'm on problem number 1, of course. Any non-zero number to the 0 power is 1. All right, when I'm dividing, one of the shortcuts I know is to subtract the exponents. All right, oops. So I've got x to the 16 minus 16th power, which is x to the 0, which is 1. Okay, 5 to the third over 5 to the third, a lot of you should recognize that as 1 right off the bat. A non-zero number divided by itself is 1. But you can also do it using the subtraction idea. 3 minus 3 for my exponent, 5 to the 0, which is 1. Okay. Now, a negative exponent means use the reciprocal. Well, I know that 7 squared is 49. Therefore, 7 to the negative second is 1 over 49. Another way to think about it, 7 to the negative second is the same as 1 over 7 squared. 7 squared is 49. Okay, this way might suit you better when you see a negative exponent. Use the reciprocal. In other words, if it's in the numerator, it switches to the denominator. All right, 10 to the negative third is the same as 1 over 10 to the positive third. 10 to the third is 1,000. This is 1 over 1,000. Okay, x to the negative third, which is better said as 1 over x to the third. Use the reciprocal. Okay, this will become y to the negative second, which is 1 over y squared. And I'm going to do this one out a little bit long. Y to the 8th would be this, right? Y, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's over y to the 10th. And I know that these can cancel, right? These all cancel to 1. Y divided by y is 1. In the numerator, I'm left with 1, because those all turned into 1, right? 1 times 1 times 1, all that's 1. And then y times y downstairs, y squared. Notice I get the same exact answer, right? That's just this here is a long way to explain what's actually going on. All right, there was one more thing I wanted to show you. Okay, I have 3/5 to the negative second. Well, that negative exponent means use a reciprocal. That's the same problem as 5/3 to the second power. I use the reciprocal. Square 5 and I get 25. Square 3 and I get 9. And there you go. That's it. See how simple that is? One more and then we'll call it a day. Say the quantity of 4 sevenths to the negative first power. Well, I'm going to use the reciprocal. 7 over 4. And that just simplifies to 7/4. And there you go. All right, that's your lesson for today. Hopefully at this point you can say I can raise numbers to the 0 power. I can use negative exponents. If you need to, go back and rewatch the video. If you need to come in with any questions, we can certainly start class with questions. Most of you don't ask questions, and therefore you questions don't get answered. But I would love to answer some for you. All right, Mr. Lawrence signing off. Have a good night, everybody.